All right, so now let's take a good look at this. So you can see, let me show you the outside. So I have my stitching around the outside, and this is the side I had up as I was stitching. So you can see I did around the back and I did around the front. So I didn't do the inside pages there because I didn't want to sew over my flaps here. So, and then you can see my pocket is on here. Let me grab a piece of ephemera. So this part is just glued down, but it looks like it's sewn down. And then the whole outside edge was sewn down as I went through with this. So now I have this nice pocket right here, and I don't have any sewing that's broken up on the front there. And then same with the back. I sewed these to start with, but then when I sewed my cover, you can see that the edges were sewn on, giving me this cute little tuck spot right here for all kinds of nice pieces of ephemera in there. Okay, and if you are sewing it like I did, so I had it like this in the machine, I just made sure that I was folding my tabs out of the way as I, came in close to these seams so that I wouldn't accidentally, sew them down to the cover, which, we don't want. We want these to be nice and loose and free. All right, so now we can start doing the inside pages. Okay, I pulled out a bunch of my pieces so we could get started on the inside pages. So I'm going to be using my Beacon 3-in-1 glue for this next couple parts because what I'm going to be gluing is a little bit thicker and I really want a good hold. So this takes a little bit longer to grab, so I'll probably be, gluing things down and holding them down for a little bit for things to dry or at least set up before I move on. So let me talk about what we're going to do. So these are the things we're putting on the inside. So these are kind of going to be our inside pages, so to say. So the little notebook that we made is actually going to go on the long flap. So I'll show you that in a minute, but I just wanted to show you that's going to be sort of the page that takes up that long flap there. And then these two things, the little envelope that we're making and this little accordion fold thing that we're making, are going to go on the double flaps that we made over here. So what I'm going to do is I need to put this together as a pocket, as an envelope first before I put it in. But this one we can put in because I'm not going to do anything to this one. I'm just going to put this in as is. So I was thinking about sewing this one, but I don't think I need to do that. So what I want this to do, let me move this stuff out of the way and we can just talk about this piece one at a time here. So for this one, what I want to do is I want to attach it to this first flap, kind of like this, so that when it lays in the book, kind of hard for me to hold it and show it, but when it lays in the book, it'll be like this, and I can open it up like this, and it will fold sort of independently of the flap down here. Okay, so I think I'm just going to glue this down to kind of show you what I'm talking about, so we can go from there. So I'm going to put the glue on the inside of the flap itself, and I'm going to be fairly generous with this. And when I put the piece in, obviously you want to just be sure you have it the way that you want it, and I'm going to put it in like this. You want to be sure that you line the paper up with the top edge. Since we cut this paper in half to make these two pages, they're going to fit just exactly next to each other. So we need to be real sure that they are, from the very top of the paper down and then, or the book down and from the very bottom of the book up. So you can kind of see that. I want to hold it for a second, but once we get it set up, I will show you exactly what this is going to look like. So I put it on the inside, and I made sure my accordion piece was tucked all the way in, as tight to the spine as I could, and then I laid the flap over, and I'm holding it down for the glue to set up. So let's take a minute and we'll let that set up. All right, I think we got this set up now. So I want to just show you what it looks like. So you can see I have my little accordion flip here, And when I turn it over, it's going to, you know, expose this other flap that we have going there. So that's how that first one looks. So I'm just going to put this aside for a minute while we get the envelope ready. And all I'm going to do with this envelope is I'm going to sew around this front edge just by itself so that, you know, it has a nice finished edge here. And then once I get to the edge, I'm going to take that off, and then I'm going to sew around. I'm going to fold it in half, and then I'll sew around the entire edge of it, or actually at least these 3 edges. I don't think I'm going to do the bottom edge since it's already attached. It'll just add more bulk. So I'm just going to sew up this side around the flap and down the other side so that I have that done. But then this will also be sewn together. So I'm going to go do that real quick while this is drying, and we'll have this ready to go. All right, I have my envelope all sewn together, so you can see everything looks sewn here except this bottom edge. And I have, you know, my little opening right here where I can put some ephemera or pictures or something like that into from my Easter celebrations. So now when we're going to put this one on, we're going to put this one on the other flap, the bottom flap, but instead of putting it on the inside, I'm going to put it on the front side. Okay, so I'm going to put the glue on this side of the flap, and then we're going to put this down on top of it. And the reason I'm doing that is because I want to put a pocket on the back of this. And I thought that having this flap on the back, the pocket then could cover up some of that flap, you know, to kind of just keep it a little bit hidden. So it's going to show a little bit because my pocket is small, and I'm okay with that. So, that's how I'm going to put this one on. So I'm going to take my glue once again, and I am going to put it on the flap itself so that I don't end up putting glue, you know, where it's not going to hit anything and end up gluing something else down. Not because I know this from experience. That's not true. I do. I definitely do. Okay, and then I'm going to take this and once again try and line it up just exactly next to the flap that we just put in, and I want to be sure that I don't have it past the crease so that this will move freely, open and close, which it does. So now I'm just going to, once again, I'm going to hang on to this until it gets, and actually maybe I'll do it this way since the flap is there. I'm going to hold on to this until it gets set up and dry in there. Okay, that is feeling pretty dry. I think we're good. So we have our 2 front flap pages in here, and I love the way they're looking. I definitely think I'm going to add some decoration to them somehow. I don't know exactly what that is yet, but I like that they move independently of each other, and that we can open this up and put some, you know, more journaling spots or pockets or whatever on that. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my little journal that we have done here, and I'm going to put this on the second flap. So to put this one on the second flap, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put it on the inside of the second flap, because once again, we have this little piece of card that we cut off of it that's going to be a pocket on the back side. So let's put this on, and then we will work on those additional pockets so you can see what I'm talking about here. So I'm just going to, once again, add some glue to the inside of the second flap, the long flap. And then I'm going to make sure I have this right side up, because that would be my luck. Okay. And then I'm going to put this right down on there, and I'm going to try and put it close to the center, but not all the way in the center. I do want to give it some space to be able to move back and forth, especially since there's, you know, this cardstock, these flaps are kind of close in there. So I'm just going to leave just a teeny bit of room just for maybe the width of this little notebook here. And once again, I'm just going to hold it until it dries, but I do want to just make sure the glue wasn't smushing out all over the place and gluing everything down. So I think I'm going to hold it this way since I know the glue's not smushing out on that side. Looks like it's smushing out on this side. And we're going to wait until this dries. Okay, this is still setting up, so I'm just going to put this aside for just a second so we can talk about the last pieces of construction that I'm planning to do, or close to the last, I should say. So the two things that I'm going to be working with are the piece of cardstock that we cut off of the inside journal cover, so that little 2.5 by 8.5 inch piece that we had left over, and then the top piece that we cut off of the piece of ephemera that we made our back pocket out of, that as well. So these two are going to be additional pockets on here. So what I want to do is I want to make them a little bit more sturdy. Now the cardstock, I probably don't need to do anything to. It's pretty sturdy itself. I don't think I need to do anything. But because this was printed on presentation paper, it's a little more flimsy, and I think I want to give it a little more body. So I am going to glue this down to some book page. And since I want it to be double, I'm only going to cut one piece, and I'll just glue this in half first, maybe. And I'm going to end up sewing around this, so I'm not going to be real exact with my glue because the sewing will hold everything together how I want it to be. So I'm going to glue this down. Once again, I'm going to focus mainly on the middles here, just to hold it in place. And I'm going to line it up with my folded edge and one of the side edges so that I have less to cut off. Okay, now that I have that going, put my glues back together here. Okay, so let me just let that dry just a little bit. And then what we're going to do is we're going to put a hole in this one. So I'm sorry, just like a finger hole, a notch hole in that. So this is going to go on the back of here. And we're going to glue it down at the bottom to kind of hide our flap that's there. So what I want to do is I want to put a little notch hole here to make it a little more obvious since these papers match so nicely. I wanted to be sure that it shows that this is a pocket. So you need to decide, you know, which side you're going to do up. So I kind of had it like this because I thought the flower might be nice on that edge, but I realized some of the words are upside down. So I think I'm going to put it this way so that the words are right side up. So once again, you know how bad I am at at making a center mark with no help. So I'm going to, let's see, so this is 8.5. I know that my mark needs to be at about 4 1/4, which is about right there. Okay, and this time I'm using my 2-inch punch. Since it's a longer pocket, I think it would look nice with a bigger notch. So I'm just gonna line that up as best I can, and I think my punch is losing some of its, I need to sharpen that. If anybody knows how to sharpen these things, I would love to know. I've heard you can do it with foil, but if there's other ways, or if that's the best way, I would love to know in the comments if you could tell me how to do that, because I don't know. And it looks like I'm getting dull on the edge here. So I'm just going to use my craft knife to cut around what it missed, and hopefully I can do it carefully enough that it won't look too bad. But you know what? I'm gonna sew it anyway. You know me. That helps seal some of those edges anyway. Okay, so here is my pocket. Now, like I said, because this is cardstock, I don't think I'm going to put anything additional on this one. I'm just going to do some sewing on that one. So now that my glue is probably pretty dry on here, on the middle of here, because like I said, I'm going to sew around this one too. I'm going to cut this one out. And I may do another small notch on here. And let's see how that looks when I get this off here. Okay. So yeah, I think I might do a small little notch here on this one. So this is a little over 4 inches. So I'm just going to mark the middle of that. And it's going to take out a little of my words there, my order sheet words, but that's okay. All right, I like how that looks as well. So this one, because there's some book page underneath, I'm going to do a little distressing on both of these. I can find my distress page here. I'm going to do some distressing, and then I'm just going to do a zigzag stitch all the way around both of those pieces, and then I'll be right back. I have my 2 pockets all sewn now. So you can see this one has my book page on the back, and this one I just left plain since it's cardstock. So now I think this is dry. So let's go ahead and put these on. I'm going to do the small pocket first because I think that one will hold a little bit faster than my larger pocket. I may have to kind of hold that one down until we're sure that one's nice and secure first. So this one, the small pocket, is going on the back of my envelope here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to just line it up towards the bottom of the back of the envelope, and I'm putting it, on top of the flap that we glued the envelope on. So now when I put my glue on, I'm just going to do 3 sides here, and we're going to glue that down. So once again, I'm using my 3-in-1 glue. Get my pretty little strings out of the way. And let's just hang on to that for just a second while it sets up here. Okay, now let's do the other one. So now I'm just going to fold this back here, and this one is going to go right on the crease back here on top of the flap. So I'm going to glue the 3 sides of this one. Two sides and the bottom. And then we will put this down gently right there. And I think I'm just going to, no. Okay, so this I'm definitely going to need to hold a little bit longer so I can feel that, there's a little bit of a lump in the bottom here, and maybe even what I'll do is I'll make sure the sides are on. Make sure there's not too much glue, whoops, sticking out of the bottom. Have this lined up where I want it. Maybe I'll take a little piece of my deli paper. And then I think this will lay flatter if I hold it down this way. So I think that's what I'm going to do. Okay, our last pocket is glued in and all nice and dry. I let it go for a little bit. So this is what our book looks like so far. So we have 2 separate little flips here. One is an accordion fold, and one is a little pocket envelope here. And when you flip it over, there's another pocket here. And then we have this cute little notebook included inside that has papers for journaling. And then on the back of that, there is a nice big pocket to put things in. and a big pocket or a tuck spot here in the back for even more ephemera and things like that. So I think this is going to be the perfect size for my the Easter I would like to capture this year. So the other thing that I wanted to do, so I wanted to talk a little bit about what I might do on the inside. So I don't have any big plans for the inside here, but I thought it would be fun maybe to add just even, you know, take some of the leftover journaling paper or the cream paper that I had put on some of the backs of things, and maybe just make a couple of, you know, journaling spots right in here that would kind of be hidden. Maybe even a pocket right here, another maybe journaling spot right here. So that was kind of what I was thinking for this accordion spot. And then I was probably going to do a little bit of collage on some of these blank pages just to, I don't know, give them a little bit of something extra. And then the other thing, what was I going to say? Well, I think that was about it, really. I did get the 2 pages of ephemera all cut out, and I already prepped them. So I sewed around them. I added some paper on the back, some of the cream paper on the back for journaling. If you would like to see how I work with digitals to prep my paper and get them all ready to work as ephemera for me, as note cards and tags and things like that, I will link to a little video I have on working with digitals and how I do that if you're interested. But I didn't want you to have to watch all of that again because I do it a lot in my videos. So the last thing I wanted to talk about was I wanted to make, because as I was looking through at how much ephemera that I was going to be putting in here, some of the little ones are absolutely perfect for like this little spot back here, because I don't want them to go above the page here so that they would, you know, hit the other accordion spot here, the other flip. So these little ones are great, but I was thinking it might be nice to have some bigger pieces to put in the pockets, either here or in the back. So what I did was, let me just move these out of the way since they're all over the place. I just printed out one more of the main sheet. So this one looks a lot like the front, or it is the front page. I just printed it out on presentation paper. So this is the back side, or one of the plain pages. And I did print this one on regular copy paper. So it still looks okay, but I wanted the lines because I thought it would be fun to make some tags from this. But because this is presentation paper, one more time, I wanted to give it a little bit of sturdiness. So I'll probably cut out the tags and then line the back of the tags with this nice lined paper. And then I'll have a couple of larger tags to put in the front pocket here and in this back pocket here, and maybe even one in here. I don't know yet. So, so it looks like I can make tags that are about, let's see, 3 inches or so, maybe 3¼ inches. Possibly 3½ I did glue this side down, so I have to watch how wide I go if I want to put them in the back. Let's see, this is about a little less than 3 inches wide. So I probably want to go 3¼ or so. And then in the front one here, I could probably do a 3½. I think that would fit in here, 3½ inch tag if I wanted to. And then of course I can do it as tall as I want because I have a lot of room up here. So that's what I'm going to do now. I think that I'm going to cut this page down into 2 or 3 tags. And I'm going to try to decide how to do that while keeping some of the graphics intact here. So I'm going to start from this edge, and I'm going to come over here and see what 3½ looks like. And actually that would be, looks like that would be just about perfect because it would keep my flower on here, which I think would be nice. So I'm going to do one of these. So that could be one tag, and I'll probably cut some of this down or something so that it's not the full 8½ inches high. And then this one, now let's see, I'm definitely going to be cutting off some of the Easter again. I don't think there's any way I can avoid that unless I do like a 2-inch tag. Which maybe, actually, let me see, because I was going to say, I think it might be nice to have, even if I could just get the word Easter on one of the tags, that might be fun. So maybe what I'll do is I will cut out the word Easter, and I am going to be cutting off the bottom here, this little egg basket, and maybe I'll see if I can keep that. So let's do this. I'm going to see if I can get 6 inches out of this without cutting off my Easter basket, which I can. And I can go maybe just a little bit smaller so that I can cut off right above this little Easter basket. And then I can either use this for some decoration or for something else. And then I can cut out the Easter to make my second tag here. So let's see, this is going to be, we'll do this one at 3.5, I think, or maybe we'll do this one at 3. And then we'll be closer to just having Easter on there. Okay, so I have this as one tag. And now I will cut this down a little. Let's see. I think I'm going to try and keep this top item here. So let's see if we can do 6. Might take off a little too much for me. Let's maybe do 6.5, because that's the pocket in the front is nice and big. And so a tag in the front, let me just pull it out here so we can take a look. So this tag could go in the front right there. I like that it gives me some graphics up at the top here. And then this one I can put in the back here like that, and it has the whole word Easter on there, which I like. Okay, so that one's a little smaller, and that's all right. This one's a little bigger. And then I have some of these others left that I'm sure I could piece these together and make sort of a Franken tag. That might be fun. Let's see. I think this goes together with here. See, if I was thinking a little, I could have maybe not cut that. But actually, I think I'm just going to, maybe I'll just Franken these two together. So I will, here, let's do it. So these are my 2 tags. I think I'm on one more tag because, like I said, I'm trying to use up everything I got. And since they're digitals, I can just keep, printing as many as I want. So with this, I'm going to take my papers out again. And these are pretty thick because they're on the presentation paper. So I'm only going to do one. So I'm just going to glue these together how I might want them to be Frankened together. And this is going to be pretty wide, so I may cut off a little of one of them. Let's see. What do I got in terms of inches here? So this is already 1, 2, 3, 4, a little over 4 inches wide. So that's going to definitely be too wide for a tag. So let me cut off a little bit of this. Maybe I'll cut off 1 inch of this guy. And then we'll glue these down together. And that'll make a nice little Franken tag. Okay, where's my glue stick here? All right, I probably should have put this one on first. Let's put it down at the bottom. And then we'll put this one right next to it. And then what I'll do when I sew this one, after I get the back paper on, what I'll do is I'll sew a little line, a little zigzag stitch across this seam that I'm making right here. So that'll help to tie everything together. So I'll just make it look like a little quilted tag here. I'll do a little zigzag stitch right down the middle when I sew the whole thing together. And then what I'm going to do with this one then is we're going to back these tags, and I'll cut them into tags, you know, more with the angled edges and stuff once I get everything glued down. So I'm just going to back these, and like I said, I could put book page underneath these as well, but I don't think these need it so much. So Okay, so we're going to put that one down there. And then I will cut them all out, cut my tag tops, and then we will sew around them and we will have these tags ready to go. All right, so I just wanted to show you where I'm at so far. I don't think this is finished yet, and I think that I will want to continue to add to it as I, journal in here and, start putting some other things in here. But I love the way it's turned out. So let me just kind of show you some of the things I did. I finished up my tags that I had cut out before, and I just added some hole punches to some of them and some sari silk to some of them. And I love the way, this could be done, or I could continue to add some collage and things to it as well. So I've kind of put some of the other pieces of ephemera in and throughout here as well. And then if you notice on my my envelope and my accordion page, I did add a couple of just handmade tabs. So I added a nice little small one up here and added a little bit larger one here. I used just some leftover pieces from a digital kit, my Brimfield kit. So this is a page that has a bunch of advertisements on it, and I just used that to make these tabs. So I think that they were perfect for here. They kind of have the same tone in them, and I love the vintage look of them. And then on the accordion page, I did add just a piece of the cream paper here to do some journaling. And I cut out that little egg basket or box that we had been looking at before and made it into a little pocket right here so that I could, put some little bit of ephemera in there. So that's kind of it. I was thinking I would add some more to this page, but I don't know what to put there yet. So I'm going to wait to see what strikes me. And then on the other side of the accordion page, I left this part blank and I added one more piece of paper over here. I was kind of thinking about leaving this blank because I think it would be fun to just write over some of the splotches, the paint splotches there. I love the way that looks there. So, and then for the envelope, I didn't really add much more to it. I was thinking about adding some collage here, but once again, I'm not sure what I want to do yet. So I'm just going to wait and see if I can, something inspired comes along. So on the other side then of these, you can see I have my one page that has just the blank page on here, and the back of my envelope, I have my little pocket that has, I just put two small pieces of ephemera in there and they fit in there just perfectly. And then the other thing that I was thinking about doing was adding some more to this cover, either here or on the inside. So, maybe some more pockets, but also maybe not. So I love that I can continue to work with this and add things to it if I, feel so inspired to do so. So right now I didn't do much to the book itself. I left all that pretty plain. And then on the back here, I did add some more ephemera into this little pocket. So here's one of the other tags that we made. And this one I added some bright blue sari ribbon to, also with a hole punch and some altered book or paper hole reinforcements. So, and then I just added this little postcard in there. And then on the back here, I have just the rest of the ephemera. So this was the other tag that I kind of did as my Franken tag. You can see I have my stitch right down the middle there. And then I just added some scrap fabric stapled with the tiny attacher stapler right there to that tag. And those fit in there just like that. And then the last thing that I just pulled out to kind of hold everything together. So you can see it's a little bit of an alligator here because of all of our flips and folds and stuff. So I just grabbed some of this sort of lavender sari ribbon, and I just figured I'd grab enough to wrap it around a couple times and then maybe add a little bow right on the front here. And that's it. So I hope that you guys will go out and grab a freebie for yourself and make something with it, or make one of these for yourself. And if you do, I'd love to see what you put together. So you can tag me on Instagram or send me a DM. I would love to see what work you're putting together. Thank you so much for watching this video, and I will see you in the next video, friends. Take care and have a happy Easter. Bye-bye.